multi-billion-dollar hailstorm hits an area, your focus should be on running your business, not on insurance claims. We have helped streamline the insurance process for hundreds of roofing contractors across the U.S., and we can do it for yours too. Visit us online at c3adjusters.com and learn how we can help you save time and get claims paid faster.
Good afternoon, Hail Stalkers. A little after 12 p.m. today for our daily hail forecast. A little busy this morning and quite a bit of activity last night, yesterday, and there's a lot to talk about today, so I had to kind of push the forecast off about half an hour, but don't worry, we are here and talking about everything that is expected for today. Thanks again to C3 Group and Merlin Law Group, as always, for being our sponsors. You can check both of their pages out in the description if you're watching us here on Facebook below. Before we get into the forecast, of course, as always, I just get that little reminder, if you have any issues with the website, you can always give us a call and we can set up a training so that way you guys are well versed in everything that's going on, especially since we are pushing updates fairly regularly, and also there's different areas that have been impacted with hail compared to previously. And speaking of different areas, we made a 4-star map yesterday, Oswego, Naperville, Illinois, and into Valparaiso, Indiana. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, we went up to some 2-inch hail with that, over 213,000 homes impacted. Now, in terms of the damaging ability of this hail, they've had somewhat mixed reports, but it definitely was pretty wind-driven and quite high volume with hail, at least with a couple of the storms, and then we had actually much bigger hail down the pipeline in Ohio. We had hail in Kearney, Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska very early this morning. It looks like very high volumes of hail there. In Julesburg, Colorado, we had up to 3-inch hail. This was out in far western Nebraska. I believe the Omaha area just had up to some isolated golf ball size hail. About 98,597 homes impacted there. Didn't get a chance to put any pictures up on this one, but you can be more than willing to go check that out. I saw a picture of people with stuck in traffic with a foot of hail that fell in Omaha or something. A little crazy, very high volume. And then finally, Dayton, Ohio, Fairborn, and Tip City, Ohio. Unfortunately, with this hailstorm, we had what looked to be a couple very violent tornadoes through Dayton. Thankfully, we've only seen one fatality so far, and I was very nervous last night that when this came out, as this was ongoing, that we were going to see a high fatality number, but thankfully a lot of people have basements in this area, so the bad tornado, at least DF3 damage, but did drop up to 2.25-inch hail, about 39,617 homes impacted. Not a lot of hail reports or pictures came in with this, mainly because there was a tornado emergency in the city as it was happening, but we were able to find some pictures. Most of these were after the fact. For example, this picture, I was talking to the woman who sent us this picture. She sent this in, or saw this about an hour after the storm happened, so quite a bit of melting that definitely occurred. So again, we had that pretty big hail. This one was found afterwards, and that's pretty big hail as well. So pretty big hailstorm for the Dayton, Ohio area. Again, unfortunately, it came along with a pretty big tornado with it. And speaking of big, we got a big risk today. Let me just get all of this loaded up here. We have 2 areas that we're focusing in on. The first I'm going to talk about is a little closer to home here in Oklahoma City. We have a 20% chance in Oklahoma City, and in Wichita, a 25% chance for Kansas City, all of which up to 3-inch hail possible anywhere here in the purple. This is looking more like a more classic looking I-35 setup. There will be upscale growth, so I think the tornado threat isn't as high as it's been the past few days. However, I think we are actually going to see a chance to see quite a bit of big hail with any isolated storms that form. Storm Prediction Center seems to be pretty hell-bent on getting Kansas City in there. They're going pretty aggressive with a 45% chance for hail. I'm toning it down a little bit. I have it 25%, and I think storms will be moving through this evening, possibly even early afternoon. There's some activity off to your west. We'll see if that can fire anything up in Kansas City, and there is that chance we could see up to 3-inch hail in Kansas City. More likely, hopefully even just anything at least quarter size. I know a lot of folks in Kansas City are really ready for a big storm to happen there. Down here in Oklahoma City and Wichita, more isolated storms are expected to form, so any of those will definitely have very large hail with them. Models have been pretty consistent in showing storms in both of the respective cities. We will go out and chase today if anything does head towards Oklahoma City, since it's just a little drives away for us to go west and track it back into the city. So obviously we'll go live with any sort of coverage as well with any of these. A 15% chance for Tulsa, Some models are showing storms forming over by Tulsa. It gives you a much better chance for hail. But then other ones are showing more typical Oklahoma activity where Oklahoma City gets hit and then it kind of turns into more of a line of storms as we move towards Tulsa area. Hopefully we don't get a ton of rain over here again. This whole section of the country is just inundated with a ton of flooding, and we don't need any more flooding with that. And also, maybe not so much on the tornadoes either. We've had quite a few tornadoes over the past, God, I don't even know how many days now. So that's that first area we're looking at. We move a little further east, and things have been kind of trending upwards the past couple of hours. I was looking, this is a more recent addition, a 10% chance for Cleveland, Ohio. I think we're going to see some storms form off the lake and form into Indiana, possibly even as far west as Chicago, and move to the southeast. All those could have up to 2-inch hail possible, and I think we might be in for a more impressive looking severe weather event on the East Coast, across areas of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, possibly even towards New York City, where we could see hail up to 2 inches in diameter, along with some tornadoes. If there's going to be more tornadoes today, I think this could be more the focal point than in the Midwest and in the Plains states. But I would pretty broad 5% chance, just because it's a little hard to get a lot of these I-95 cities to get hit. You're a little too close to the Atlantic Ocean, but I got that 10% for Cleveland, Ohio. So what's the timeline for all this in the city nearest to you? I'm starting with Kansas City. Between 5 and 9 o'clock tonight, we could have up to, again, 3-inch hail is your absolute maximum. We could have like that 25% chance for hail, and with that, about 20% chance of 3-star or higher. My biggest concerns with Kansas City is more clustering of storms that minimizes hail size, keeps it closer to quarter-size hail, and of course, I don't know, Kansas City just had crappy luck so far this year, so we got to lean into that a little bit, unfortunately. Oklahoma City, more of the same, 5 to 9 p.m., up to 3-inch hail. I think I'm a little more confident in the potential for up to 3-inch hail in or around the metro in Oklahoma City. But the chance, since storms are more isolated, that chance is a little lower, 20% chance for hail, 15% of 3-star or greater. And of course, obviously, if anything is dropping 3-inch hail and is moving in Oklahoma City, very quickly goes up to about 100% chance, and then the chances for 5-star map go up a lot more. And then finally, my recent addition, I think this, I was telling Derek about this before, I think if I had one city to pick that could surprise us today and end up outperforming the Plains states, it could be Cleveland, Ohio, or somewhere in that vicinity, between 4 and 7 this evening, up to 2-inch hail possible. 10% chance right now, but an equivalent chance. Again, kind of going out on a limb on this, but I think somewhere in Ohio or Pennsylvania might get a pretty good hailstorm today. So, future radar. This is one of the more recent model runs. I could probably show you guys the most recent one as well if you like. And this shows quite a bit of activity. I'll let it cycle through and we'll go look at it again. I know comments aren't showing up on the screen. I'll look at it on my phone at the end here. So you see storms, more isolated in nature in Oklahoma. That promotes bigger hail. So I think they're pretty consistent on something showing up near Oklahoma City. We have a lot of activity, again, a lot of activity heading towards Kansas City. So if they stay isolated, good news. If they end up being more clustered, then maybe not so much. So that's why I'm not going much higher than 25%. And then all continues off to the north and east. And I did have 5% for Omaha. There's a chance that some stuff near the low pressure system that you see swirling around behind my head, might be a chance that some of those storms could go up that way as well. Watching that carefully. Pushing further east into the northeast, this is looking like a fairly impressive looking setup for this part of the country. See a lot of isolated storms moving towards the southeast, northwest to southeast. Again, this is where I grew up, my old stomping grounds. I see a setup like this, and that usually bodes pretty well for severe weather for the area. Not so much in my home state, but definitely Pennsylvania. You can see over there, this is over by Cleveland, all these big storms coming off the Lake Erie. That makes me think, there might actually be some pretty big hail with any of that today, along with a good section of Pennsylvania. If you recall, in 2014, Reading, Pennsylvania got blasted with like high volume 2-inch hail, so it's not out of the realm of possibility for big time hail in this part of the country. They had tennis ball size hail in Connecticut last year. So I know this is a less traveled area for hail, but that is an area that can still get it. You can get it anywhere in the United States. Hell, even get hail in Hawaii. And then for tomorrow, for all my Dallas viewers, there is hope. This is, I think, the last day of this sequence that we've been in for a couple weeks now, where we could see some big hail across the Dallas area. Everything kind of sinks to the south a little bit, and that puts the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex in play. any isolated storms, if everything kind of lines up the way it's looking right now, could see up to 3-inch hail, your typical Dallas size hail. With any isolated storms that form after about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, see that future radar here for tomorrow, and you have storms off to the north, and then these isolated storms form, and then those are some nasty little guys that go blasting through there. So could we end this sequence? Could we end May with a big storm in the Dallas area? We'll just have to find out. Today and tomorrow have this potential where we could have a couple 5-star maps. Before we go into a little bit of a break here, I think once we get to Thursday, we can finally breathe easy a little bit. I think everyone here at Hail Trace are ready to, I know I'm ready to have a full night's sleep for the first time in a while. So a welcome break would be nice on Thursday, but I also would not mind if we had some big hail today and tomorrow. So since haven't seen any comments on the screen because I didn't get a chance to fix that yesterday, let's see if anybody has anything in here. Okay, yeah, just keep those comments coming in, guys. Further south, DFW. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, that was probably an earlier comment. Nebraska expecting severe weather again this afternoon, hoping for more hail. Yes, again, anything that goes into the Omaha area could be upwards of 2-inch hail. I didn't mention that. We got Scott Diamonds tomorrow. Mixed reports in the burbs. How big was Omaha? I think the Omaha area, I didn't actually get a chance to look at the map yet. That happened very early this morning. I think it had up to golf ball size hail, isolated golf ball size hail. It looked like extremely high volumes of sub-severe hail with severe hail mixed in. 15% for around Joplin. Yes, Joel. That's what I'm expecting. Plano going to get some tomorrow. Maybe, Jack. It's possible. Dallas, give me that hail in Pennsylvania, and Plano, sent to Plano. Are the Carolinas done for the year? No, I don't think so. Not necessarily. You guys are able to get storms just through the summer. I think that Raleigh storm might end up being the best one of the year, but there's still plenty more chances for storms. What's the chance for Dallas? I'll have the percentages out for that for the video tomorrow. Right now, it's looking not bad. I'd give it a solid 15-20%. Timing for Wichita is going to be the same as Oklahoma City, 5 to 9. Need hail in Overland Park, Kansas, area just south of Kansas City was a potential. I had a 25%, and honestly, the southern sides of the Kansas City metro is probably at a higher risk than the northern sides. If we switch over to what's currently going on here, we're probably going to be issuing a tornado watch, or a tornado watch will be issued. We're not going to be issuing it, but the tornado watch will likely be issued in the Kansas City area in the next hour or so. We see all this moisture here, all this thunderstorm activity, that's all lifting to the north and east. So which leads me to believe we're probably going to have some sort of outflow boundary extending south of the Kansas City area, along with where the warm front's currently located. That makes me think, probably the southern side. If we had to, split hairs, probably I would lean more towards the southern half of the Kansas City metro versus the northern half. Was it I-70 that bisects the city? I'd probably say south I-70 is a better chance than north. So again, we'll watch all this. I wouldn't be surprised if this drops out some boundaries, and that would be what would really enhance storm potential for later. We do have a storm going on right now in Missouri, and they just issued a tornado watch for almost the whole state of Pennsylvania. So there we go. And yeah, up to 2-inch hail. Yeah, they're agreeing what I'm thinking too. I think I don't know, the Northeast might sneak out a couple storms today. So. But that's what we got for today. Well, oh no, I don't have my background picture. That's weird. No, be sure to follow us here on Facebook. Hit See First. Especially we go storm chasing. We can go live with any sort of storm coverage. You don't want to miss any of that. When will Denver get another shot? Denver will probably get another shot the next chance the wind's blowing that way. We got to get this system to push out first, and then once we reload. So we got probably the rest of the week you're not going to see anything, but we're getting that time of year where the wind just has to blow the right way and you have some instability in place and you can get some hail. Yeah, parts of Denver got twice last night. That's very true. They do. We do have a 2-star map of that. All right. What's the better storm, Dayton or Chicago? I honestly don't know how good the Dayton, Ohio storm is. People aren't talking about the hail too much. Again, there was a major tornado there last night, and all of the focus is on that big tornado. And the hail is more of almost like an afterthought. So it looked like there was pretty good hail with that storm. Whenever they start dropping big tornadoes like that, the hail usually spikes up quite a bit. The reports come down significantly because people are a little distracted. I've heard of damage in the Chicago area, but again, I haven't heard enough feedback to say for sure, like, hey, this is a great storm versus this, or etc. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap this up. Any other comments, questions, or concerns you may have, of course, you can always put them in the comment section below. If you're watching this when it's not live, put it in there. I'm going to hopefully try to answer some questions. The storms really start ramping up pretty early. I'm not going to be messing around on Facebook too much, but we would love to hear any comments you have. You can give us a call with any other comments, questions, or concerns you may have, or if you're interested in what Hailtrace has to offer for you, email us at info@hailtrace.com. Visit our website. You guys know the drill. Follow us on Instagram. I'll hopefully see you guys a little bit later, maybe some live coverage for some big storms in one of the various cities across the United States at risk today, or even going live for big time hail, maybe while we're storm chasing. Either way, if I cross those fingers, do those hail dances, maybe we'll be back later today. If not, I'll see you again tomorrow at 12 p.m. for a forecast for likely the Dallas area. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.